Hey guys, it's David
And Gigi, David's mom.
from Gigi's Fabric Shop, home to Juki and Junkies, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the qualities to look for in a dealer when you purchase a sewing machine. So where is the best place to buy a sewing machine and what to look for? So let's get into this video. So there's three main topics to this video, and the number one thing is going to be customer service, pricing, which is of course everybody's favorite topic, and then the final one, does that dealer specialize in that product? So let's start off with customer service. What is one thing that is super important, Gigi, and picking a dealer on purchasing a machine? What is important to look for as far as their customer service? What are you looking for when you call that company up? What do you want to hear off the phone? What do you want to hear that they have to offer? Let's hear.
Well, you know, the other day when I was on our group, I read something that someone said, one of our customers says, you guys are like the neighbor next door. And I was thinking, what do you mean the neighbor next door? And it kind of clicked in where I was like, oh my goodness, what that means is that we're just a step away, a phone call away, an email away. So the biggest thing that we like to talk about is how we are here to support you before the sale, during the sale, and also 6 months down the road when you forget how to, whatever, thread your needle the certain way or something breaks. We want to be here for you and not have to go through a phone system that's far away, you know, in another country, or someone that doesn't sew and is answering the phone and can't relate to the questions that you have. So customer support is a huge thing for us.
And I think it's important to note before we go through this whole entire video, this is a podcast style video. I think we forgot to mention this. So you can just kind of listen to this as you sew or while you're driving. You don't actually have to physically be watching us. But also another thing I would like to note is we are a Juki authorized dealer and a Janome authorized dealer. We're Juki Junkies and Janome Junkies. And I just want you guys to know that we're going to be going over things to look for in all dealers, not just us, but you will hear us highlighting some of the things we do in this video. So don't feel like it's just us talking about us. This is stuff you can look for in other dealers as well. We want you guys to know that we're not just the only person in the world.
Well, these are the questions also to be asking your local dealer, you know?
Exactly.
I mean, we want to be that dealer of yours, right? But we understand also that you could possibly have a local dealer. So things to look for is, what does your phone support look like? What does customer support look like? What does your educational support look like? You know, are you going to a dealer that offers so many different products that they can't hone in on one product and educate you on that product?
Do they have resources for you to figure out how to use that specific product, such as things you can look at home, such as like our YouTube channel, which we love? Do they have the Facebook groups or different groups for you to bounce ideas off of with other customers that they may have? Things that you can kind of find at home, not just always in person, because let's be honest, sometimes local shops can't always tend to every single one of their customers at once, so you want to have that support also virtually at home, not just in-person experience.
Well, and I think what makes us a little bit extra is that we have a team that exclusively specializes in that Juki product. Like, somebody was asking the other day, well, do you have that machine? And I said, all of us have the Juki TL18, you know? So we know exactly, you know, how to answer those questions because we sew just like you do with those machines. A huge support, chiming back in what David said, is educational support. I used to be an elementary teacher, and for me, from day one, which is why I started Juki Junkies on our Facebook group, was educational support. I didn't see that it was out there, and I wanted to provide a channel for not just our customers, but other people that own Juki sewing machines to be there for them, answering those questions on how do I do this and how do I do that. So Facebook support group, that is huge. Our Instagram, also our YouTube, which we offer a lot of classes, and also our Juki University, where we offer classes that you can come, you know, and purchase, or even free ones, to learn more about that product.
So to discover those things in a dealer, you would probably just go ahead and kind of research their name, maybe look up things that they have associated with their name on social media, but also in-person experiences, maybe look at reviews, find other people that have purchased from them and hear from them. So those are good ways to actually verify what we just kind of went over in a dealer.
I was thinking about reviews and how often people look at reviews, but let's talk about who writes those reviews, David.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
often it is that person that is really upset and is like, that's it, I'm taking them down. And they write something just horrible, and people don't understand that maybe that person, maybe it was a user error. Maybe they didn't read their manual. They didn't look to educate themselves before they turned on that machine. And I will often see this, which is another reason why I started that Facebook group on Juki Junkies, because I was reading reviews on one of the big storefronts, and I was like, what do you mean that machine is not good or it's difficult? I'm like, no, something's not right. And so what I started seeing is that people often review the negatives, but they don't talk about the positives. And the best positives that I get is when someone calls me or texts me and goes, wow, this machine is amazing. But I also take the time in that phone call to say, let me explain to you how to have an awesome experience, and I want you to go look at this YouTube video on how to thread the machine, how to use your accessories, kind of like an open box experience that we offer to you so that you have another, a wonderful experience. And that kind of leads to give a test, which is later on that we're going to talk about, so we'll talk about that in a minute.
I think another cool thing to think about is that dealer willing to find the answers for you? So if they don't check all these boxes, there's still people that might not have all those boxes checked because maybe they haven't had the staff to produce that product yet for you, such as YouTube, Facebook, all those other things. But are they willing to go above and beyond to find the solution for your questions? So when you're looking to purchase that machine, are they willing to go above and beyond and research and figure out how to solve your questions for you? So those are things you can kind of test out before you make a purchase with them. Is ask them questions, and if they don't have an answer to it, are they going out of their way to research it, or are they just kind of making up those questions? Because we have seen a lot of people out there, and they kind of just give a false narrative to a product versus actually going out of their way and researching it. And that's the number one thing we always do here is if we don't know the question, we don't answer the question. And if we don't know the question, we're going to look for somebody else that knows that question. So
and
the
we're
cool
not
thing
shy
is,
about saying we don't know, because we can't know everything.
I tell customers on a regular basis, I don't know that question, but I'll give you the answer in 2 seconds. Would you like to wait now, or would you like to wait after the phone call? I'll send you a text or give you a call after. Because that's the number one thing is we will never give you a false answer. And if we do, we'll own up to it if it's the wrong answer and it was maybe we thought it was 100%. But we always locate the correct answer for our customers. So that's something always important to look for in your dealer or a dealer you're thinking about buying from is will they locate the correct answer and validate those answers before you make that purchase.
Something that I would like to just talk a little bit about is classes. And we like to think of our classes always available to our consumers, but also for the people out there that haven't even purchased from us. Because we're known for helping those that haven't purchased from us, and then they end up being our customer. But something to look for in a dealer is to provide those classes in-house. And the nice thing about us, selling nationwide is that you don't even physically have to come here to our store. We're providing you with those educational opportunities on YouTube, on our university, and honestly,
on personal phone calls.
On personal phone calls. I mean, I have been known to, I'm not going to say what I look like at home when I answer the phone, but I'll go, can I FaceTime you for a minute? And I will literally FaceTime the customer and go, oh, wait a second. You missed that step when you were threading the machine, and that's your problem. And she's like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. It's Saturday, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I cannot believe you answered the phone and you are the owner of the company. Yes, that's what I love to do.
And how you can validate that one is you can call the company you're looking for, whether it's an online or in-person dealer. But like when you call us, okay? When you call us, you're gonna talk to either Boki, me, Gigi, or Kristen. When you call a company, are you gonna be talking to somebody that is actually gonna be helping you, or are you gonna be talking to somebody that's just behind a desk and doesn't know anything about the sewing machine? Yeah, or in a different
That's
country.
My pet peeve is like when I hear another country and there's like animals in the background, I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Give me someone here. That's
can you get a hold of them?
But David,
that's a big thing.
Let's also talk about, we also take it up a little notch. We're a little bit different, and I think it's because we work so passionately and we are a family business, and it's just a little bit different here. I mean, yes, there are companies that will answer the phone, but we take it sometimes a little bit to the
Well,
extreme.
yeah.
You know, I mean.
Well, what I'm getting at is,
it is what it
if
is.
you're buying from a massive box store that doesn't have a number for you to call and talk about that product, you want to look for a store that you can see the product online and you can actually speak to a real person and talk to them about the product you're about to purchase. Because if you're missing that, then you're probably going to miss a lot of the customer service right away, right off the bat. Another topic we wanted to touch on was warranties. When you get your sewing machine from that dealer, whether it's us or whoever you buy it from, it's always a good question. Before you make that purchase, who's handling my warranty? Are they going to handle the warranty for you? Are you going to kind of hit a dead end when you call them and you are like, hey, who's filing the warranty? Here at Juki Junkies, if you have a warranty issue with your machine, I personally take care of it, so I'll file the warranty and go through the process to make sure it gets handled. And that's something that's really important to look for is that dealer or is that company going to be standing up to the plate and helping you file the warranty and get the process done, or are they just going to be like, figure it out?
I like to ask things like, how do you give me an example of how you handle a warranty? What was the last warranty thing that you did scenario?
That's a good idea.
And what's your process? Because it's easy to say, yeah, we can handle your warranty. Not that we have like many warranties, but that's something that you want to know. What is that process and what does it entail?
It's a thing that happens, so you definitely want to check it out of the box. It might not be something that happens to you. I would probably say it's less than 4 or 5%. It's a very small number of warranties, but it's something that's relevant because it does happen in life. Sometimes your brand new vehicle or your brand new machine might have a little issue, and you want to make sure that a company is going to stand up and help you with that little issue. So you're not just left in the dark figuring it out.
A perfect example is I recently had purchased some furniture and there was something wrong with the couch. And when I called the local store that I had spent so much time with the salesperson, she goes, oh, we don't handle your warranty. So I had to call 1-800 number, no relationship. I mean, I felt like, wait, I thought we were buddy-buddy here. I thought you were my neighbor next door. And that wasn't the feeling I got. So the next time I had to buy another couch, which was right around the corner, I didn't buy it from them. Mm-hmm. And I literally asked the company, how do you handle your warranties or if something goes wrong? What is your process? And I learn, from my own mistakes and then apply them to our business.
So our next big topic is pricing. We think this is probably the most important thing for most of you guys out there. Everybody wants to save $1 or $2 or maybe 50. So pricing is a really big topic. So we want to cover this thoroughly and why we think pricing is so important. When you're looking for pricing on a product, of course, everybody wants to get the best deal, right? So everybody wants to Google whatever machine they're looking for and they want to just look for the best price. Well, I'm here to tell you, sewing machines are the last thing you want to do price checks on. It's something that you really need to check all those customer service boxes with. And I personally would spend, I'm not saying our machine prices are really good, but I would spend $100 more to buy a machine from somebody that I know is going to help me versus somebody who is $100 cheaper, but I won't get help on. Because when I get that machine home and I start using it, just because I saved $100 on it doesn't mean that when I start using it and I sew on it for 2 hours and I don't know how to use it and I can't get support, I would gladly have spent $100 more to make sure I get the machine from somebody that's going to help me out.
And let's face it, the way Juki does their prices is we're not even allowed to put machines on sales. Everybody should have the same price across the board. Okay.
There is some machines.
So the only ones, certain times of the year they'll drop the price and offer a sale. But the only ones that are going to drop sometimes a price is going to be in a local setting. And if they are literally giving away that machine, that is a huge red flag. And the reason I'd like to bring that up is because in the past, I've had different situations where a customer has had issues with their machine. They got an amazing deal on that, and they're like, I so regret doing business with this company. And I've seen it from the same dealer over and over. So a deal is not a deal if it doesn't come with amazing service.
I think sometimes the price, if somebody is giving you a price on the machine that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars off, it might reflect in their confidence to sell a machine at a full price because they don't have that service that people are looking for, so they're having to price cut it to a point that people will buy their product from them. So pretty much what I'm saying is companies that can sell the machine for what they're at, what the actual price is somebody who is pretty confident in the fact that their service and what they have to offer is worth that machine's price, and they don't want to undercut everybody because they know that they're going to be there for you in the future, which costs the company
Right.
money, so they can't be pricing something down. So for instance, let me just...
They're not going to close down.
Yeah, so for instance, if I have a product that's $100 and everybody's selling it for $100 and that's the pricing, but then you walk into a store and the guy's like, I'll sell it to you for $50, and his cost is $40 and he's making $10 on it, he's going to not have as much profit on that machine, which means that he's probably going to correlate to bad customer service because they don't have the money and funding to spend the time if they're not making a sale call, right? Because they need to just sell volume versus actually selling it for what it's made to sell for.
They're not going to be around. They're
Exactly.
just not going to be around.
So that's important to think about the pricing there, but also I wanted to touch on, there is a few machines that we do sell that pricing is, it's called map pricing. You're supposed to have, every machine that Juki sells is pretty much a map pricing, but there's a few machines, I'll name a couple, F300, TL2000, that prices can vary, and there's no rules from Juki on what you can price it at. You can price it at whatever you want. So with that topic being covered, our website, we do price match every website in the world, so our prices are just as aggressive as all theirs. But just keep in mind, if you do see prices that are really, really cheap on those specific models that you can be priced at whatever, it might be worth spending $5, $10 more and ensuring that they're going to offer you that customer service that you're looking for.
That makes me think about an example here in the past was this lady had purchased, I think it was like an F300, and she says, I looked it up, and I don't like to mention any names, but it was from one of the big, storefronts, and she says, I went on there and I looked to see what store was selling it, and it was a grocery store. A grocery store. So what kind of support, are they going to offer? And how does a grocery store end up selling a sewing machine? And how are you going to call them and deal with that? No. So a price is definitely not always.
One thing I don't think we mentioned, and I don't know if this is later in the video, but we test all of our TLs, 2010s and TL18s. And the TL2000, I did already mention that machine is not a map price machine, so people aggressively price cut that machine to sell more machines. So it's always off by $5 or $6. And recently, I was telling Gigi, I was like, Gigi, at the price that we're selling this machine at now, I don't know if we have the profit margins to sit there and test the machine for 30 minutes anymore and still remain our price cut to be aggressive enough to compare with all the other big box stores out there. So I was like, why don't we do something different, and why don't we not test the TL2000 and we have it at that amazing sale price that everybody has it at, or price cut price, whatever you want to call it, and then we have the option where you can pay $10 more and we'll actually test the machine for you. So that way we kind of give you, the customer, the option to either have that extra service that we like to always offer, and the choice to buy it at the cheapest price, which if you buy at the cheapest price, you're still going to get our customer service. It's just we're cutting back on the testing on that machine because of the price cut. So that's just an example to show you what happens when you start price cutting, and how a business looks at it like us, and we're like, man, now we can't do that anymore because that machine's just so low on profit margins. Let's say a banana. All bananas are going to be the same, right? If Publix has it for $1 and Walmart has it for 50 cents, it's a banana, and it's an organic. Let's say it's an organic banana. You can buy it for 50 cents. Save your money on that. You don't need the customer support on a banana, right? You know how to eat a banana. But a sewing machine, you might not know how to use it in the future. You might have an issue with it. You might need that support. So that price difference is not always the first thing you look for when you're purchasing something that you need support on.
Well, and let's talk about, how do you get to purchase a machine if maybe you're not financially there? So one of the things to look for is what kind of payments do they accept? For example, here at Juki Junkies, we have PayPal, where you can check out with PayPal, and there's the 4 payment options. Once you select PayPal, you could select that, and you could break up your machine into the 4 payments. We also have synchrony financing, where you could have the possibilities of having 6-month financing or 12-month financing at 0%. So that's a big thing. Like, what do you offer? As far as how I can make this dream totally happen. So that's addressing pricing. Let's move on to the next one. Accessories and genuine parts. Let's talk about that, because accessories are, in order for you to sew, you need accessories and you need Juki parts. So one of the things to think about is does the dealer or the shop know how to install them? Do they know how to use them?
Do they carry them?
Do they have them in inventory? Because it's impossible if, to carry all the parts if you're not like a big online store. So that's important to think about.
Can they get them?
Can they get them? Because it is often that, companies have a certain amount that you have to meet to get those parts. So that's why sometimes you hear, well, my dealer I've been waiting for this part for 4 months. So that's something to think about. Hey, what kind of parts and accessories do you have and how soon can you get them? And then really the other thing would be just accessories in general. I mean, what needle do I use? Do you
Knowledge on the accessories that go for your machine.
Right. Just
understanding how to use those accessories with your machine. All that kind of stuff plays into accessories.
What thread? What's the weight that you can use on a TL? What's the weight that you can use on the DX4000? Those things vary. Well, and the other thing I wanted also is to hone in a little bit on genuine Juki parts. So for your machine, you could buy genuine Juki parts, and then you could buy off-market parts. Okay, I would say we sell. Oh my goodness.
We sell every genuine Juki part, and if we don't, we can get it for you.
Yes. So you want to make sure it's genuine and it's real. Now, that's not to say that, let's say you have a Juki TL18 and there's one particular foot that you're dying to have and Juki doesn't produce it, then those are off the market parts. And we do carry some of those, but very little. But it is important to know, hey, do you test that? Is it something that's going to fall apart on me when I put it on my machine? Is it going to take my machine out of timing? Is this something that is of quality? So you want to make sure that that is tested and someone that definitely has that background information and the testing of it.
Correct.
Right? Oh my goodness, I have the perfect example for this. The other day I had a customer who bought from her local dealer, which she wanted to support. She bought a sewing machine. And then she calls me, she goes, I am so sorry. I bought this TL machine from my local dealer, but they don't have the thick throat plate and they don't have the feet that I want.
I want to say I taught that lady too, or maybe it's
Oh
just
no,
a lot
we
of
have
people.
it often. We have it often.
I swear I did.
And I was like, oh my
She was
goodness.
so
And
cute.
I can understand that because when I started at the very beginning, I was like, how
Didn't
can
have
I?
everything, yeah.
I couldn't afford to buy all the accessories and put them there in a rotating rack and wait for my local people to decide that they were going to buy all my, come in and buy those accessories. So that's something to look for is what type of accessories do you offer for the product that I purchased? And that's what's nice about JukiJunkies.com is that we provide the entire catalog and then some, even the parts if something breaks down the road, even if you don't see it on our website.
And we have it available.
And yeah, we
Most
will
of the time
actually
it's all
special order if we don't have something available, but we carry all of them. So that's something to ask is, hey, do you have all the accessories? If you look on our website, we have optional accessories and standard accessories that come with the machine. Can you provide all those? So that's definitely something.
I want to touch on her experience with the customer with what I experienced because it's probably a very similar person, but I think it's kind of cute, so we're going to mention it. She called us and she called me and she was talking to me and she's like, so I just bought this TL18 from them. And they told me that they can't get this thick throat plate for 6 or 7 weeks, and it's a pretty readily available part. So it kind of sounded like they just didn't want to order it for her because it wasn't worth their time.
No, I think I
or
know
something.
what it is. They can't. They have us meet like their requirements. Like, hey, you have to place a $250 order. So
And
they have to wait.
They weren't willing to do it.
Yeah.
So she reached out to us, and she was kind of frustrated because they weren't really answering her questions, and the answers she did get from them weren't the most accurate. So she called me, and she's just like, David, I want to order the thick throat plate and the hinge zipper foot and a few other accessories, and I just want you to know that I am your new customer. I want you to be my dealer. Is that okay? Is that okay? Can I be your new customer? Can you handle me? Can you take me on as a customer? She literally said
We're taking
this.
applications.
And I'm like, can I handle you as can I take you on as a customer? I was like, yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, we do get a lot of phone calls, and sometimes we are stressed out trying to handle all of our customers, but we definitely get done. So I was like, yes.
And there's nothing.
I forgot her name, but I was like, yes, I will take you on as a customer, and we will treat you the best we can. So immediately I got off the phone. I had her give me the order number that she placed, and I immediately grabbed it and packaged it and got it shipped out with a cute little thank you card and was like, thanks for being our customer. Like, and she was just so like excited and like just wanted to verify that she was okay coming over to us and being our customer.
And just to be funny,
It
it
was
is
really
often that we'll hear, I didn't hear about you guys
That's what she said,
until
yeah.
I bought the machine. You know, I mean, will you please help me with my machine? My dealer, this is the best one, my dealer does not know how to thread it. I'm like, what? What do you mean? They don't know how to thread it.
So
we give them the resources to thread it, and eventually, you know, we become the dealer.
it's important to look for a dealer that specializes in the machine you're looking for. As you see at Juki Junkies, we don't sell every machine brand out there because we want to specialize in what we know we can handle. So we only sell Juki machines, and we do also have Janome Junkies, which we specialize in as well. And we'll only sell anything on our website that we can actually physically, one of us, one of the owners, one of the main employees of this business will actually sit down, look at, understand it to the extent that we can talk to you with confidence and actually provide you with correct answers.
Yeah, and just because a new machine comes out, we will not be the first one to always jump on it and buy it. Because if I don't have the manpower to grab that machine and learn that machine and master it to answer your questions,
I'm not going to sell it. Yeah.
I'm not going to sell it, because what good am I going to be? And so I'll have reps get mad at me because, hey, I didn't buy, you know, the new one that just came out. And from day one, for all these years that I've been doing that, that's how I have run this business. Because why should I have a machine sitting there if I don't know how to use it?
Until we can have enough employees where as soon as a new product comes out, we get it and we're testing it and we're understanding it and we're becoming experts at it, that's when we'll have those products the day it launches. Until then, we don't have the staff to do that yet.
And same thing with products too. I mean, we put everything through the ringer. We test it. We try to learn about it, because we know that as soon as something is going to be launched, we're going to be having questions
on how
2 days later.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, Juki just put something out. We're like, we got to go grab it. But we better know that we have the time to educate ourselves on it.
So that way, even if we aren't the most well-versed on that specific thing, because let's be honest, there's only like 4 or 5 of us here, and there's only like a million products, right?
I mean,
so we don't know every single product like it's been ours for the last year and a half, 4 years, whatever. We're not well-versed on everything, but we will get you that answer if we have to source it without just our brain.
Well, a perfect example is we had purchased a binder foot that a lady wanted, and I didn't have it on our website, and I remember that customer buying it, and then a week later, of course, asking us how to use it. And Kristen literally took the time to go put it on her sewing machine, learn how to use it, videotape, and respond to the customer with how to use it. And I was like, okay, if that is not customer service, I don't know what is. I mean, whoa.
One thing I think we need to touch on before we start closing out the video is going to be, when you buy a machine from us, you can ask us, hey, David, you know what? I'm buying this machine, but I have a question. Could you test it with this specific weight thread? If we have it here, we'll test it with it and give you a sample of it, test sewed, or maybe, hey David, can you look over this machine and just do this stitch for me and give me a sample? Make sure the person you're buying it from, especially if it's an online dealer, is willing to go above and beyond and go into that shipping department of theirs and actually sit there and do something extra for you, not just, oh, well, unfortunately, ma'am, our warehouse doesn't work like that. We can't go over there and touch that product and do something extra to it to make sure that it's going to be able to meet your specification that you wanted us to do
which
before we
leads
ship
me
it.
to sometimes our customers that are not in our groups, not everybody's on social media, will call us and go, I got a machine and the tape has been taken off and it looks like someone has used it. And it's because what we do is we often, 99% of the time, we will open up your machine and we will test it to Glide 40 thread and
TLs.
have the TLs, and we will
Not all computerized, just TLs, really.
And we will test that machine and have it ready with the tension set for that thread, which is wonderful because it allows a smooth experience out of the box with you having to change the tension and trying to figure it out. We'll also keep it threaded so that you could see it. So it's nice because you just kind of get to dive in a little bit. And if you watch our videos, you know, our out-of-the-box experiences, how to thread it, how to set it up, you are going to start straight off the bat like good to go. And we started doing that because we noticed that a lot of times with mechanical machines, manual tensions needed to be adjusted, and we wanted to make sure
people were struggling.
That while they were struggling and they would call us, we're like, man, we can't keep up. So we started doing that, and that has been wonderful because straight out of the box, you start sewing.
There's no variables for you to experience. You have the thread that we test with. You have the sample in front of you showing you what it's capable of. And then that way, when you do need help troubleshooting with it to set some tensions, we know that you have the exact thing that we tested it with, so we can really kind of get a ballpark of where you're at.
And we're known for that. So some people will go, well, I'm a bag maker and I know I'm going to start sewing, a Tech 70 off the bat. So we set it up with Tech 70, whatever it is. Within the range of what we have, we do that. So that's that topic right there.
One other thing I wanted to add is, when you're purchasing a machine from somebody, it is important to make sure that they are truthfully listening to what you are looking for in that machine. When you're talking to that rep or the dealer or whatever you want to call them, and you're looking for that to purchase that machine that you've been dreaming of, are they going to just continue to try to push you towards that next level? Are they going to continue to just try to kind of stretch your budget the whole time? Or are they going to really go, you know what, Christine, or whatever your name is, you might not actually need that feature, or this machine has these features, but it's like $500 more, so you might be able to save some money and go back. A perfect example for that is there's machines out there that are literally identical to each other, but one's like a lot more money, and it's literally just like a Wi-Fi feature or something that you're like, man, do I really need that? And that's something that's important to notice from that dealer is, are they listening to your actual needs, or are they just trying to push you on that next?
Well, and are they asking you questions? If they haven't asked you at least 3 questions.
At least.
At least. I mean, I ask a lot of questions. I feel like I'm interviewing the customer.
Yeah.
And, it's like, what are you going to be using this machine for? What are you missing out on the last machine or the machine that you currently have? What are you looking for to grow into? And you really want to feel like they genuinely care. But the biggest thing too is to be very careful with pushing that inventory. I hear that so often, and boy, is that my pet peeve. I can't go into that topic because that one really gets me mad.
Well, sometimes we've heard from our customers that some dealers are like, well, they don't make the TL18 anymore. They only make the 2010. And you're like, wait a second, are you just pushing your inventory because you have the 2010? Or is that actually the truth?
Yeah, and customers are smarter than that because I'll see them post on our Facebook.
Not always, though. Sometimes it's not always the smart, but it's trusting that person. So you need to verify what they tell you. So if a dealer tells you that machine's no longer out anymore, it's only this machine, go on Google and type it in. Is this machine still selling? If it's still selling and they're saying it's not available, that means they just don't have that machine in stock. One other thing that I think is important to note is, almost even if a customer calls us or calls me and they're like, hey, David, I want to order the TL. I've watched your videos. I already know I want this machine. I don't always just go, okay, let's just check you out.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll usually go, well, what are you, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to start checking you out. And then as I'm checking them out, or as I'm getting through the process and I start feeling them out of what accessories they need, I'm asking them, well, what are you actually using this machine for? Oh, okay, so you're doing that. I just want to double verify that they're going to be happy with that machine.
Right.
Because I think the one thing that we've noticed here at our business is the little amount of returns we get. We get such little returns because we're making sure that when you purchase that machine, it is the right machine. And I think a lot of dealers kind of look past the fact that they need to make sure they're buying the right machine, because it ends up just being a headache if they don't buy the right product, because it's coming back to you.
I had a lady the other day who said, well, I'm a bag maker, and the dealer sold her a full embroidery sewing combo machine, and she's a bag maker, and I'm going, oh my goodness, what? And she said, yeah, he kept pushing that, and so that leads me to believe that that's what was in inventory, and that just was not right, and I can't trust someone that does that. So make sure that they're asking you questions and you're asking a lot of questions.
And if you guys have more questions on this topic or other topics pertaining to best bag making machines or what industrial should I buy, we actually have other podcasts that we're going to link at the end of this video, or we're going to link them down in the description. So definitely check out those other podcast videos. If you like this style video, you can kind of be sewing away or driving away, and you can kind of learn a little bit about sewing machines. Definitely check those out. Give us a like if you enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you have any questions and quiz us. We'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. And make sure you hit that subscribe button because we post every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see you next Sunday.